wonderful to see you all. Well, we're going to begin beautiful. We're going to begin our service by standing and singing our congregational song.
Soul down in, I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home. I got a new day silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul, and the whole
Sharon, Hendrix, my friends. Oh, what a joy to be in your presence again. Well, I want to welcome every single one of you. Good morning, Unity of Santa Barbara. And those of you that remembered it was daylight savings, I'm most grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you. And every year that I've been in the ministry, every once in a while, there's people that come in at the old hour and they look around and they go, what is going on here? So we will love them and not embarrass them and just welcome them in. So I just want to say we are a welcoming community, welcoming all people, all faiths, all lifestyles, all cultures, all ways of thinkings, and that is why we are called Unity. You guys are so good at that. So wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we are thrilled to have you among us this morning. And I'm going to ask each of you, if you will, we're going to just, if you will, stand up, turn around, look at the camera back there, and let us wave at those people online. Good, and we welcome those online. You know, just so you know, we have people not only locally, but from all over the world that join us every Sunday. And we are grateful to have you online and you here today to be a part of today's service. Thank you for your presence. And so with that, we open with a prayer. If you will, just close your eyes for a moment. Take a moment to tune in, tap in. There is a power and a presence right here, right now, that is so fantastic. It's so precious and it's so loving. Just tune into that power and that presence. And so, dear God, we give thanks as we call forth a light column from the highest of the heavens to the middle of the earth that surround, fill, and protect this church, its property, and all who enter here. We give thanks that this light cleanses our minds, our bodies, so that when we leave here today, we leave here with a renewed and refreshing essence of who we truly are. We give thanks that in this place only love enters here. Anything unlike love just simply is dissolved. We give thanks that only peace is here. Anything unlike peace is just lifted and released. We give thanks that only joy, fun, love, and laughter live here. This is a high vibrational place to be, and we are so very grateful. And we give thanks for this time together. And so it is. Amen. And so this is the time where we're going to do a congregational greeting. And because of COVID, people may not feel comfortable hugging. I know some of you do, or reaching out your hand and shaking each other's hand. But we can just do the bowing of namaste. We greet the divinity in you, or you can even say, I greet the fabulousness in you today. So if you'll just take a moment to greet those around you, if you will. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay, I know it's been a while since you guys have seen each other, but doesn't it feel good? Feels good, I know. Yeah. All right, so we do have some announcements today, of course, because that's part of church, isn't it? All right, well, we have our annual meeting that's coming up next Sunday, and one of the things that... Sorry, I am... Thank you. This is why we have smart people here. So in 2 Sundays, March the 27th, I speak next Sunday. I'm way ahead in my brain, but I just wanted to let you know that we have our annual meeting. Allison, who's our board president, is spectacular at keeping things on time. Our promise to you is that right after the service, we will have our meeting and we will make sure that you're out of here with either within or at the hour. So that's why we love her so much. She's really good at that. So all right, and then we do have it's an advisory vote by members only, and now we will also be having our nominees at the time. So let us show those pictures. There we go. No. We have Kathleen Blake and Mary Jo McGrath and Clyde Blair. We sent out an e-blast earlier this week that explained who they are and how fabulous they are, and you'll be voting on them next week as well. They're very good people. And then we have our flowers that were donated or dedicated to Sarah Spirato in memory of her mother, designed by Ingrid Smith, and they are gorgeous. Oh. We have such talented people here. It's amazing. And then today, after the service, we ask for you to be a part of our service, and that is that we're going to have a Q&A for Reverend Temple and myself. This is where you get to ask questions about who we are, what we believe in, how we might be as a co-ministry for Unity of Santa Barbara. You get to ask all the questions, and we get to answer them, and we might even have some questions for you. You know, it's back and forth that way. So next I want to introduce our guest speaker today. And you've been sent out a bunch of stuff about her. She's very accomplished. She's got letters behind her name. She's got books that are out. But I want to tell you who she is as a soul and as a friend of mine. She is one of the most compassionate people I know. She wouldn't hurt a fly. So when I am at home and I get scared of a spider and I kill it, she's at home going, let me usher you out. During Thanksgiving, when I'm gnawing on a, chicken thigh, she's like, oh my gosh, all those turkeys that have been killed. She has great compassion. She not only has compassion for animals, but she does for people and for these truth principles. She's a most magnificent friend of mine because during some of my darkest times, I've called her. She's been my friend, my prayer partner, my mastermind partner. She is an extraordinary teller of the truth. When she talks about these truth principles, she's coming from a place of deep practice. And so it is with great love in my heart I want to introduce to you Temple Hayes. I know. It's good to have friends. Today I want to read the Daily Word, and for those of you that may not be subscribing to the Daily Word, you can subscribe. Can we subscribe out there? Is that how it works? You can buy one out there. Buy one out there. These, I'm telling you, these, and I love that you can get them in really big font, which... And or you can get them in small font, or you can get it online. But these are so important for your everyday spiritual practice. And as we've said here at Unity, Unity is not a religion. It is a practice, and this will help you with that. So today's lesson, I want you to just really take it into a deep level. You might want to close your eyes. And let me just read these words to you and let them sink in. The word for today is light. The light of truth dissolves all darkness. A bird's cheerful song interrupts the quiet of the night. The dark sky grows lighter and puffy clouds begin to glow with the beautiful shade of pink. Brilliant rays announce the sun's arrival. The sun peeks over the horizon, flooding the new day with light. Light dissolves darkness in the consciousness in a similar way. At a challenging time, my heart responds to the hopeful thought that this too shall pass. Hope grows into faith as my mind opens to divine wisdom that is always mine to claim. Guided by the dawning light of truth, I see the way forward and follow it with confidence. As surely as a new day begins and brings a sunrise, my faith assures me that the light of truth will dissolve the darkness of any obstacle I may face. And that is inspired by John 1:5, where it says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it." And with that, let us just say amen together. Amen. And now we take our statement of truth, and this is an old Unity affirmation that is the truth for all. Let me say it once, and I'll ask you to repeat it again with me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And in order to get prepared for our time of meditation, let us now sing Blessings to the World.
Of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world.
And so we continue with that beautiful presence of the music in our heart, invoking and opening our beingness of spirit. And just allow yourself to feel very clearly and very distinctly the energy of I belong here. And silently and gently affirm that with me, please. I belong here. Indeed, the universal power, the beloved God, Yahweh, sent us here at this particular time on this particular day. And we invoke the energy within our bodies, within our hearts, knowing that in this collective, that we are one. Though some of us are new to each other, we are not new to what we know of truth. And in that connection, there is the space between the no longer and not yet. And now I invoke every cell and fiber of my being and declare it whole and well and holy. I invoke the energetic presence within each and every one of us, that there is a resurrection of joy that is calling forth a new awakening in our being. Calling forth a new awakening at Unity of Santa Barbara. And so we give thanks, precious Spirit, for this wonderful opportunity that we call life. We give thanks that this presence and power that is greater than we are expresses and is known to the world by the very nature of our purpose. As we breathe in the silence, we deepen our being and we give thanks, knowing that we are one in this world.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Woo. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new world for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world and a bold world for me, yeah, yeah. Stars when you shine, you know what I mean. Scent of the pine, you know what I mean. Oh, freedom is more, and I know what I mean. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-ba-ba.
Wow. What a blessing. Let's give her some more love, please. Yes. I don't know about you, it makes me want to start taking voice lessons from you. It's like, wow. So there's 4 college students from Penn State, and they decide that even though they have a chemistry test on Monday, they want to go out and go to the local town and just party it up. And so that's what they do, and they start having so much fun partying that then they decide they're going to call the professor, and they're going to tell the professor they're not going to make it for the exam on Monday. They've had a flat tire. And the professor says, well, okay, you can make it up on Tuesday when you get here. So they come in on Tuesday, and they go into separate rooms. And they look at the test, and the first question is worth 5 points. And the question is a chemistry question. They look at the next question, it's worth 95 points. The professor says, which tire was it? I think that's happened to a couple of you, but we won't go there today. I think the energy of that is that it's more in life, more than what we know. It's the truth and how we live it and how we settle into the truth. We are a society that are trained very early on that we need to develop our brain. We need to develop so we can pass our SAT. We need to do good on our scores, right? How many of you have ever had to refer to your SAT for a job interview, or you ask your realtor, what did you make on your SAT score? It's very important to me. Before we get married, have children, I need to know your SAT. Our goal as Unity students is to know the real SAT, and that's the soul that's activating the truth that is with us. Because we are part of evolution. We came here to bring in the new era of life. We did not come here to step into the same paradigm as our parents, our grandparents, our culture. We're part of the new emerging self. Isn't that the root of resurrection in the first place? Yes? And so we look at that because when we make decisions in life based upon what we know, guess what? We have more of the same. Well, I knew that. We have more of what we just keep affirming over and over and over again, yes? The first time I spoke here, I referred to one of my favorite quotes. I use it as a everyday lesson. It's from Victor Hugo. There's one thing stronger than all the armies of the world, and that's an idea whose time has come. One thing stronger than all the armies of the world, and that's an idea whose time has come. What happens often in life is we focus on the army versus the idea that's wanting to emerge within us. What are everyday armies? Everyday armies, right, can be traffic. Everyday armies can be, well, my mom's knee hurt and so mine does. Everyday armies can be addiction, can be whether to wear a mask or not. Right? Could be how we are now with COVID, or before we were, and who we're going to be now. And we have a chance to be something different. What would that be like? The idea wants to come forward. I mean, I was telling someone the other day on a radio show, never before in our history have we had such a great time that all of us are mystics, right? Right? Yeah. Hello? Because we're living in what we don't know. If we allow this COVID time to do what it has the potential of doing, it will catapult us to the greatest level of humanity that we've ever known. Because it will break away the old patterning, the old army of living in a box, or not being brave, or not feeling free, and not allowing ourselves to move forward. I can only imagine what you're going through here at Unity of Santa Barbara. With the meetings with the board, with the meetings with the team, and Allison and Russ, you're going through a lot of unknown. But there's a deeper part of that if you can look at it not as the army of what are we going to do? How do we prepare? How do we experience? But if you can move beyond that to who knows what is possible? We have this clean slate. of what we don't know. And if we're willing collectively to bring it all together, wow, what would that be like? Are you in? Yes. Are you with it? Does this work for you? Because I've got time, I can change it to... What you'll learn about me if I continue being here is I'm very interactive. I don't just enjoy listening to myself talk. I feel like we're having a relationship. Are we having a relationship? Yes. Good. Thank you. Thank you for that. So the teacher asked the little boy, how many directions are on the compass? And he said 5. And she said, I've never heard that before. 5? He said, yes, ma'am. There's east, west, north, south, and where I am. Where I am. So thus the topic of my talk today. What you are seeking is seeking you. What you are seeking is seeking you. If you have the eyes to see and the heart to feel it, the ears to be open according to your soul, you can't miss it. But if you live life in what you've reminded yourself of who you are in the past, it goes right beyond us. It's about who we are. It's about our consciousness. We were talking about that yesterday when we talked about this is an opportunity to just have a new vision, a new time, a new way of doing things. And thanks, Reverend Heidi Alfrey, for the idea, because she's the one that talked to us about coming here. Let's give her a round of applause, that girl. We weren't thinking about that, but we live in a place of knowing what we are seeking is seeking us. It's like, well, okay, here we are. But we were talking about how to have this open erase board to just erase the past. I don't know about you, but after 50, I stopped being hung up on my past. It's scooting along, right? And it's like living the now actually is not a cliche. It actually means something. And so if we look at an empty erase board, what can this place be? What can your dreams be that you bring here, that you see manifest here, you see? And I said, I bet you that's how Charles and Myrtle were. I bet they lived in that much freedom to see what was calling them, what was invoking them, what they dreamed of. Had it not been a sense of openness, it would have been the same old of the same old, yes? As Bobby Kennedy would say, some people see how things are and say, why? I see things how they have never been, and I say, why not? Join me in that. Why not? Why not, right? I had a wonderful moment with Danny. You always have to honor the person that is with the musical talent of Sharon. Let's give Danny some love over there. But we had a defining moment because ever since I'm 10 years old, the first time I decided that I was going to be a softball player. And I walk up to that field, and as a 10-year-old, that field was so huge. But intuitively, this is before Shakti Gawain and creative visualization. Before that, I had this awareness to walk the field. And I observed that as I walked the field over and over and over again, that it became smaller and smaller and smaller because it's an energetic prayer, is it not? And so when I would get up to bat, I would look at the people in the outfield and I would say, you need to move on back because that ball is going over the field. But my whole life, I have walked the field. I walk the parameters here today so that there's a connection that we experience because nothing in life is too large for the God that we represent in unity. Where we get into struggle is when we are determined to make God smaller. Where we get into struggle is when we are determined to be in control, which is an illusion, rather than allowing what is wanting to unfold to come forth. Yes? So it's in that space. I love the story of the monastery that It was dilapidating. It was falling down. It kind of reminds you of the scene from Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg. How many of you are old enough to remember that movie? Good. We're happy for you. Okay. In that space, if you don't, you can look it up. But anyway, this monastery was really dilapidating. It was tired. It was weary. The people that came were tired and weary, and actually very few people came. And so the abbot had the idea. He heard about a wise elder on the mountain, and he walked up on the mountain and said, "We don't know what to do. There's very few people that come anymore. No one really wants to even serve here." He says, "Well, let's have tea." So he's waiting like for this magic answer, this moment, something's going to happen. And nothing happened. He didn't give him any advice. And so he said, "Well, I guess that's it." So he goes to exit. And all of a sudden, the wise man looked at him and said, "One of you is the Christ. One of you is the Christ." And the abbot goes kind of jumping down the hill, like, who could it be? Is it Father John who washes the pots? Is he the Christ? Is it Father Tom that's out there gardening? Who is it? And he came back and he gathered his team and said, "The wise man on the mountain told me that one of you is the Christ." And so their energy got going. Wonder who it is. Wonder who it could be. Wow. Isn't that the energy where we want to come from? How amazing can you express spirit? What is your individuation of the Christ consciousness? And how do we support you in getting there and being there? That's where the energy needs to go. There ought to be policemen trying to negotiate where people park. There's so many people attempting to get in here on Sunday because the people that come here are aware that unity is about empowerment. Unity is about exceeding conditions. Unity is about exceeding being old, but being ageless in your life. Unity is for the voiceless. We stand for the children. We represent and we take a stand for children being abused. We stand for the voiceless, such as the elder and the animals. That's who we are. And unless we have that as our purpose, we sit around and we turn on each other. You know that thing, that one said that, and that one said that. Now, she comes late every Sunday, and, and she says she's on the welcome team, but there's nothing welcoming about her. That Temple Hayes, she's weird as heck. Well, you know what? I am. Deal with it. I hope so. Because we are destined to make a mighty noise. The stories of Jesus didn't happen because Jesus said, "I got to fit in this box and I don't want to stand out." Yes. Wow. If people aren't talking about you, you're not doing anything. You're just status quo. You want the people at your office talking about you. You want your family talking about you. Right? People get so upset. And they go to Unity 50 years and they go, "Well, my family talks about me." That's wonderful. They may notice what you're doing. And the other side of it is, hey, they may even pick up some of the things in which you live and move and have your being. What a concept. Yes? What a concept. That is what we are here for. There's a scripture in John that says that if you have faith of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move." And what happens? It moves. You can say to this mountain, "Move," and it will move. And people spend so much of their life saying, I just don't have faith. I need more faith. What do I pray to get more faith? And I say, you have the most amazing faith of very few people that I've ever met in my life. Why? Because you have faith always that the same old stuff's going to keep happening in your life, and it does. Who can do that and do it as well as you can? Right? You have faith. We have faith. We've just spent a lot and enough time in having faith in, well, you know how it is down there at that church. They have issues, well, you know what? When people talk about their church, this is what I told them at First Unity. Don't forget the church is a building. So the statement is, it's the people at the church. Yes? So when we have faith, look at what you have faith in. Is the faith that, my mother had allergies when she turned 70, so now I'm going to have them? How do you make that happen? Go figure. Isn't that like a misuse of affirmation and affirmative prayer? We have lots of faith, but where are we putting it? Are we putting in the same repetitive consciousness of who we are, what we're going to be? Or are we opening to something that we don't know yet that has our name on it? Are we opening to a love or an essence or a being? To know that you are the Christ is so exciting to me. Danny and Allison and Cathy, Rev F, and all of you, that you're the Christ. There's Ann back there. Y'all know she's the Christ, right? She even has Self as her last name. Don't miss that. That's a big name to carry with a lot of power, isn't it? Woody is Christ. Yes. Let's collectively create something that is large enough that gets the universe percolating and going, shall we? Let's hold that space. Ralph Waldo Emerson would say, a brave person is really not any different or more brave than anybody else. He simply or she simply was brave 5 more minutes in the moment. What is your brave? What is your brave? If you were brave today within your 5 minutes, now you won't get that much time during the Q&A, so don't start going there. Come back. But if you were brave today and for 5 minutes, what would that look like? Journal that this week. If I am brave every day for 5 minutes, who would I talk to? What would I say? What would I declare? What would I affirm? What shift, what change would I make in myself? Yes, what would that be? I think of Rosa Parks quite often as she was on that bus on a day being tired, another day of being tired, and somebody told her, you can't sit here. And I can hear her saying, this is my seat and I'm not moving. This is my seat and I'm not moving. Wow. What bravery that would change our history, you see, and change our world. We all have history. And history will either describe you or it will define you. Which one is it? History will describe you or it will define you. Which one is it? For that's the space that we hold. That's the place in which we live and move and have our being. It can be different. It can be different. In all my years, as I shared the last time I was here, that I drank and I really tried to do it well, never really worked. That describes me, but it doesn't define me. It's a small window of what is in my life. And that's true for each and every one of you. You, as Shirley MacLaine would say, you didn't make mistakes. Mistakes made you. They make you. They made you more. They made you more brave. They made you more bold. They made you more talented. When you hear an amazing voice like this from this beloved Sharon Hendrix, it's not because she stayed in her safe place. It's not because she spared herself some senseless tragedy. It's because you hear the depth of her heart. Why? Because she's gone through deep stuff to get there. Yes? She's gone through deep stuff to get there. And that's what it takes. That's the level of laughter. That's the level of joy. is to the level that you experience your pain is the level that your heart will open. Wow, what a concept. What a space to hold of the energy of God to say, wow, let us make a mighty noise. We can be quiet at home. Let us come and rejuvenate and remind each other who we are during the week. Some of you may have heard, I know that you've heard a little bit of rumors, but one of them may be that my wife and I have decided, because she had a dream of buying an RV, that we have been RVing across the country. And I won't take up your time even talking about that, but the point is, someone said, what are you loving about being in an RV? And I say, well, you know, that's my wife's dream. And that's important to her, and rightfully so. I say, you know, why I needed to be in an RV is because I am getting to see that the America that I live in is kind, it is loving, it is generous, it is compassionate. The America that is on the news is not the America that we live in today. The America that is selling commercials is not that America. Get away from that. Get away from that. The America is the man at the cash register when I say, I don't know how to do this diesel added. I don't even know what it means. Well, let me go out and help you then. That's the America. How can I show you how to connect these pipes? I'm here for you. I'll help you. I had to learn one time. That's America. That's America. Don't let anybody stain your belief in that original idea of what you saw that Unity of Santa Barbara Spiritual Community Center could be. Because it is here, and it is time, and it is wanting to emerge. You are the ones, however, will choose if you let it. So the umpires get together during baseball season, and they start talking about how they call balls and strikes. And one umpire says, I call it as I see them. And the other umpire says, well, I call it as they are. The third umpire says, they are what I call them. That's your life. Bless you. Bless you. Let's give Reverend Cathy some love. Isn't she amazing? Oh, yeah, so I'll know what to do next. That's a whole hint. No. So now is time. To me, it's the favorite time in the service. It's the time for the offering. Because it's amazing how excited people get. They go, gosh, I've been waiting on this. I've been looking at my clock and everything, like waiting for an opportunity to give to a teaching that has brought me to sobriety, has brought me to believe in love, has brought me to be whole, has brought me not to focus on my brokenness. Unlike so many other organizations that we give to, like the grocery store or the coffee shop or the club or whatever it is, this is the organization that changes your life. Think of all the money you save at the doctor's office. Think of all the money you save concerned about aging, because it's a beautiful thing. The offering is an exciting time. And so as our beloved team is coming forward, Adrienne and Mary Lou and our friends here, or do you come forward? So you don't. Well, don't, just stay right where you are. I thought we'd have an experience together. You know, I'm trying to make some new friends, so. Is there something up here? There it is. And we're saying it together, yes? Yes. Bear with me, I'll get this down. I hold the vision of unity of Santa Barbara as the thriving, loving, spiritual community it is meant to be. And so it is. And we have many ways in which you can give. We have many opportunities. And
There they are.
if you're live streaming today, we don't want you to miss out. So please, if you want to give with a credit card, you can give on our website, unitysb.org, or Givelify the app. And so it is. So let us do our affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. That's different here. You did that on purpose. You did that on purpose.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have enough of mind and body to live a life of grace and holiness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up. I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up. I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up.
Yeah. Woo. What? I'm going to give you the thing it doesn't really say for you to read.
Oh, okay. All right, my dear friends. Oh, that was so fantastic. I love it. One thing I love about Sharon is you feel it. You just feel it. And the way you sing from your soul to ours, I'm just, we leave here moved, and you are the place where God shows up. Definitely. All right. Well, let's just have a closing prayer, and then we're going to go right into our peace song. So just close your eyes for a moment and just feel how great you feel right now. The presence of God is here, and this is where God has shown up within our hearts, within our minds. And so, dear God, we're so grateful. We're grateful for this time together. We're grateful for this community. Unity of Santa Barbara is a spiritual community where God shows up, and that is where we live, and for that we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. One quick little announcement. We're going to start our Q&A session right after this service. We're going to ask, if you will, please just stay in your seats, and then we'll go right into that part of the service. If you need to leave, feel free to leave. And if you need to use the restroom, feel free to use the restroom. Fellowship will be immediately after this part of the service. And so with that, let us now rise and sing our peace song. And join me, if you will, in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is.
Sven will, there we go. Okay. We love that you guys are loving up on each other out there, but we're going to start our Q&A session right now, so if you would please take your seats. Come on back in. All of you who have those burning questions that we have incredibly insightful answers to. Maybe somebody outside could invite those people out there to come back in. Allison went out there and rounding them up. All right, well, for right now, this looks like it's going to be our group. You folks in the middle there, if you could take your seats, please. Adrian and our wonderful, charming vision of light. So good to see her back. She's still not paying attention to me. I love it. I love you guys. All right, so are you feeling it? I think it is unmistakable, the energy that is coming out of what's happening right now, and the possibilities that are just percolating. It's pretty magical and it's pretty wonderful, and I am so appreciative of both of you for being here with us and showing us what is possible. You know, we come to spiritual community. We come to this spiritual community to learn spiritual truths. It's what Reverend Temple was talking about this morning. This is why we're here. This is what we come for, in part. But we also come for the community. We are called here. And we are called here at this time in this place. And I'm going to tell a little story on myself this morning about getting called to spiritual community. Nobody gave me the memo that the time changed today. Not one single person said it to me. I never heard it. I never saw it in the news. I saw nothing. I was clueless. And I accidentally left my home early, and as I'm driving here, I'm going, oh my God, this isn't a choir day. I don't need to have to be here at 9 o'clock. So I went and got coffee at Cantwell's and still arrived here at what I thought was a couple minutes after 9. It was actually a couple minutes after 10. So that's spiritual community, this spiritual community, Unity of Santa Barbara, calling me. I feel that so strongly inside of myself. So for as long as I can remember, this spiritual community has been calling forth inspired spiritual leadership, right? For those of you who have been around for a long time, we talk about it and we talk about it and we talk about calling that forth. And I'm going to tell you, folks, our prayers and our call have been answered in these two wonderful, beautiful beings. I know it's true. Spiritual truth lives in my soul and in my heart, and I explained last week, when I know it's true, I get really calm and I get really peaceful because truth does that to me. It also inspires me and gets me going. So what we need to remember, if y'all were here when Reverend Phil was here during our transition, and Reverend Cathy, he kept saying over and over and over, what did he say? Holy Spirit is in charge. Holy Spirit is in charge. Holy Spirit is in charge. Our egos, my ego, a lot of times doesn't want to hear that. Because who is in charge? It's me. I want to be in charge. And I want my agenda to be heard, and I want what I want. But Holy Spirit is in charge. And I know for a fact, I believe, I have faith that Holy Spirit is guiding this process and has guided all of you and Reverend Cathy and Reverend Temple to be here at this moment in time and really take Unity of Santa Barbara to where it is we want to go. We've said it. We want to be a global presence. It's in our strategic plan. It's written down on paper. I have it on my computer. Right? Yeah, and here we are. We have someone who wants to help us go there. And I think that we are ready. I think that we want to emerge from this fog of COVID and not just limp along and try to survive, but we want to thrive and flourish and grow and be magnificent in this world.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was expecting that this was going to happen during the service, but we are going to go into our Q&A period in just a moment. But Allison has a couple more things to say.
I do. So we know that Reverend Temple and Reverend Cathy are extremely experienced. We've been sharing that with you. Hopefully you're reading the e-blast, you're getting all their bios and information. But the combined years of Unity ministry here is over 50 years. And to have that type of knowledge and skill set, we really feel that this is an incredible partnership here, this co-minister partnership. A lot of you have asked, how is that going to work and all these things. Well, the board, we are a very experienced, knowledgeable powerhouse board. We know what we're doing, so don't you worry. But I will share with you that what we're going to start with is splitting the current senior minister position, salary, duties, right down in half. That's what we're going to start with in a 6-month contract. We have a 6-month budget, and there'll be a 6-month contract for them. They are very gracious and willing to work with us. They have many fundraising opportunities and ideas. You can see what a powerhouse, the energy of fundraising potential for their salaries they're going to bring in. So we, as the board, have been doing our due diligence. We've been doing our hiring process. We've been vetting them. I have checked their references. I checked with Unity of Santa Barbara, and they give high references to Cathy. But all kidding aside, Cathy was also the minister at Ventura for many years. Temple has come from First Unity Spiritual Campus at St. Petersburg, Florida.
I just left 2 weeks ago, thinking I was going on a sabbatical for a year, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
After 18 years.
18 years, and I have spoken to both of the presidents of the board there at First Unity St. Pete that were the board presidents the entire time she was there. They don't have term limits. Don't get any ideas. But so the board presidents the entire 18 years both gave high, amazing, glowing remarks and references, as well as the same from the CEO of Unity Village, who I spoke with high reference to Temple. So I just want to let quickly, one more thing that's really important for us all to take in is that I know that this feels like it may be moving fast. I know that some people feel like, why aren't we doing it the way we've always done it with the search team and going out? And I explained a lot of that last Sunday. And I just want to reiterate that this co-minister team came to us. They came, Reverend Heidi brought this idea to us, to the board, and said, what do you think? And so we're asking you that, and that's the journey that we're going through. And there is a time factor. There certainly is. And one of the things that I shared last Sunday, to reiterate, is the finances. And I told you where we are in just black and white details, because I want you to know that we are operating in a significant loss. We're at least $60,000 in the red. Every month it grows by another $15,000. And at that rate, if we continue at that rate of loss that we're at currently without making any changes, we have about 5 more months. 5 more months, and then we would have to make significant hard cutbacks. And then also including looking at the possibility of selling the property. Alternatively, we have this opportunity of this launching this with the energy and the backing and the fundraising ideas and the knowledge and the experience and taking us, as Russ said, to a thriving, vibrant spiritual community. So one more administrative thing to let you know, that the board is following the hiring process stated in our bylaws. Part of this hiring process is that the membership has an advisory vote. The advisory vote will advise the board on this co-minister team. And that is part of the hiring process. The other part that continues to be is that the board is vetting this. We are going through a vetting process of these co-ministers. Unity Worldwide, we have been multiple communication with them. Both of these ministers are in good standing with Unity Worldwide. So we were taking all of our due diligence and proper steps. And as we continue to do that, we will take the board as long as we need to do to take that vetting process. The 2/3 advisory vote, if so received of these ministers, is one piece of that. Once we gather all that information, if they receive a 2/3 advisory vote from the membership, then the board meets and decides and votes on whether to hire this team. And that is all according to the bylaws. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear about that. The advisory vote for the membership will be this Friday, from 10 to 2. We're having it'll all be in person, so we want to give you windows of opportunity to come if you want to, not be here on Sunday, which is the main voting time, next Sunday after service. And then another window of alternate time will be Monday from 10 to 2. If for some reason you need special assistance or if you want to make special arrangements for voting, I know there's some people still that for health reasons would need to do that, please contact Peggy Haskell. You can contact her through the office, also her cell number's on the e-blast, and she will arrange for whatever accommodations you need for the voting. Okay, thank you for bearing with me with all that business stuff. The Q&A session is going to be an hour long. We're going to each have one question to start. We're going to all have one question. Please keep your question to a question. It's not a time for comments. If you have a question, line up at the mic right there, right where Forrest is, that mic. We are now going to have opening remarks from the 2 ministers, if you would like, or not.
Do you have an opening remark?
Yeah, Curly, you go.
No, I have no remark.
I don't either.
Well, we'll just
I thought we could give them our mother's phone numbers, though. And she'll tell you some stories that'll make your hair curl for sure.
So I'm open to any question that might be out there if you want. Just go to the light where Forrest is, in the light. Anyone curious about? Oh, good. I knew Clyde would start things off.
Well, first I want to just get your recipe for your magic chocolate chip cookies, Reverend Cathy.
You got it. I'll give that to you.
Now, actually, what I'd love to hear from both of you is what's your sense, what's your calling to be here? What's your vision for Unity of Santa Barbara? And just to get a better sense about you, would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Do you want? I'll go. The thing about ministers is that sometimes we compete for who's going to talk first and talk the longest and all that stuff.
You can talk the whole time. I've already talked.
As many of you remember, I was the temporary minister here with Reverend Phil, and I was asked to come here for a few months and ended up staying 18 months. And during that time, and I've said this to you, and I've also said it to the board and some of you here, is that I fell in love with this congregation. And there's a difference between loving your congregation and loving what you do. And then when you fall in love with a group of people, there's just such a heart connection and a soul connection that I've never experienced before. So on the day that I left, and my darling husband remembers this, it was one of the hardest things. I couldn't stop crying, and we got in the car, and I was like, oh my God, you know. But I still wasn't called to do ministry. And so when the opportunity came for me to come back, I said, I kind of feel like Reverend Heidi babysat you guys for me until I got here, and when I got the calling, if you will. Yeah. And I acknowledge her because she was here during the hardest time in our history, and so I'm so grateful for her. But the reason I fell in love with this group is because your consciousness is such that you really practice principle. When I call you really good Unity Truth students, that is the truth of who I know you are. And Temple and I, what I love about us coming together is that we practice these principles because it's who we are, but we're learning too. These principles, I'm in love with the principles. I always have been. I can't get enough of them. I love to read about them. I love to practice them, and I feel that we have a vibratory match in that way. So when Temple was talking about this is where we're going bigger. And that is because you have the foundation already as being really good Unity Truth students, and you're matching us with that. So that's where I see us going, is we are a center for great, great things to happen. And I'm just most grateful for all of you and considering us as a team, because we have a lot of fun together, and so you go ahead, sweetie pie.
I'm going to use that one because
Yeah.
every time I breathe, it picks it up, and
yeah.
I don't want to interrupt it when you're talking with my enthusiasm. It's interesting because Santa Barbara has been stomping grounds. I've known Penny for Penny, almost 20 years now? Yes. Santa Barbara has been stomping grounds for me. Barbara Fields, who is the executive director of Association of Global New Thought, I've had the honor of serving them for almost 20 years. And so with her living in Santa Barbara, it wasn't a surprise. We had a lot of meetings in Santa Barbara. And she and I are always talking about a bigger vision of peace and moving forward in other countries in the world and things of that nature. So when Unity of Santa Barbara came open 3+ years ago, Barbara Fields called me and said, why don't you apply? You know, it would be so nice to have you here in the city. And I said, no. My mom just moved here. She's only been here a year. I have a little goddaughter, and it's not the right time. And then I called my friend Heidi, and I said, you need to go to Unity of Santa Barbara. People move from all over the world to be in Santa Barbara. People move to Santa Barbara that could live anywhere in the world, and they choose to be here. So anyway, that being said, so here we are. So I think that's the part about ministry, is that our personality sometimes, it reminds me of when Queen Elizabeth, I'm not comparing myself to her for goodness sakes, but when Queen Elizabeth asked her grandmother, when will I be Elizabeth and when will I be the queen? That's what I want to know. And her grandmother said, you will be asking that question every day of your life. And so for us in ministry, it's to say, when did you decide upon this or that happening? It's much bigger than that for us, because it's a calling. So the personality says, I'm going to just take time out, travel the world. And I've earned doing very little. I'm going to hang out for a little while. Never retiring, I don't believe in that. And then Unity of Santa Barbara, this conversation is like, well, but this sounds right for you to do this. And it just feels right. It feels right in our hearts. It feels right in who we are. with both of us together, we've talked about how Cathy would like to focus more on the internal, and I would like to focus on more of the external. There will be crossing over, of course, but opening up to more of community events, collaborating with other organizations, having people from all over this area come in and bring what they have here. I mean, that's the real empowering leadership model, is to have people, there's many of you that have talents, that have gifts, that do things in the community. Why are you not doing it inside the walls of Unity of Santa Barbara? You don't have to go somewhere else to do it. We have this space for you to do it here. So that's part of what we long for, is to have the community aligned with Unity of Santa Barbara and expanding from there. And to know that people are already watching you from all over the world, that's very exciting. So is that answering your question? You know, the thing with ministers is every answer is at least 5 minutes. So make sure it's the question you really want to ask.
Hi, good morning. I'm Julie Bowden, and I have a question about truth, I think. Cathy, you and I spoke a few weeks ago after I had a concern about something you said that and you even addressed it a little bit too today, Temple. So what was said a few months ago by you, Cathy, was that we should not watch the news and that all news is lies. And then you, Temple, said that the call is what I say it is. Now, I think a sensitivity of mine is having, lived through 4 years of Trump and alternate facts, and now Putin saying I'm protecting the Ukrainians. So there's a fine line for me about saying all news is lies, because I can't see it, and that I think there's a difference between what actually happened and what I say happened. So it's a real concern of mine about this particular stand about truth, I guess, and news and how we get informed and how we're citizens and what is real. Yeah. So whatever you have to say, I'd love for this to be cleared up.
Well, I can only speak for myself. I would never say that the news is lies. I would simply say we're very limited in what we're informed about. And, in the old days of Walter Cronkite and the news, you would get a report in the morning, and then in the evening they'd tell you how good it turned out. You don't get that anymore. It's very splashy, it's very limited. And so it's not about not watching the news, it's being aware that the news rarely shows the bigger picture of everything going on. So I would never say the news lies, because I'm not even there. I would have no way of knowing that. But I say, oh, you did? Girl, curly hair. No. It's very limited in the information that we're given. Like for example, I'll give you an example, Julie, because that's an excellent question. And, it's the kind of question that we all ponder. But for example, bless Florida. When I have my nephews and my great-nephews and nieces come to see me, they go, I don't want to go to the beach because the shark is going to eat me. Where did that come from? Came from the news. Since 1900, the year 1900, a while ago, there have been 900-something shark bites in Florida. That's what I'm talking about. It's both and. It's understanding that, on an occasion, that the ocean is the shark's house. But do the due diligence, research, know the real information, rather than allowing it to lead you in directions that are not accurate information. So is that helpful, Julie? Oh, very. Okay. Yep. So it's a small digestion, bigger awareness.
Good.
Back to you, kid.
Okay. And I was quoting Ralph Smart, who calls it tell lies vision. And that is one of the things, is that with news, personally, I don't choose to resonate at that vibratory frequency. There's a lot of fear there that I just choose not to be. And everybody gets that choice. You know, go ahead.
And if you've ever had the privilege of having the news start talking about you, then you'll know how untrue they are, because they heighten stories to sell advertisement, to sell clicks. And I've had that experience where the news twisted something in my life, at our community's life, and it is not fun. And I really get it, you know, what celebrities go through, because so much of it is not factual information. So it's a little bit of both, Ann. Back to you.
Yeah, okay.
Can I just have that microphone?
Oh, yeah.
You have two.
Well, sure. But I'm so attached. Wait.
I feel like I keep...
Well, let me ask my question, and then you can have it. So, however, this microphone carries responsibility, and we are wanting people to stay in the mode of asking questions and not making comments. So that was going to be my job, but you can have the job.
No. I thought you were using that one over there.
I'm going to give this to you because you asked so nicely.
You're so kind. Thank you. Will you be my friend?
Former life. So I'm going to ask, just if you would kind of expand on this whole idea that I have been talking about for several years. Everybody knows I really want to rebrand this place as a spiritual center.
Right.
Yes, and we have support for that. Mm-hmm. And you came up with this fabulous idea. You spoke it during your talk of rebranding us as Unity of Santa Barbara Spiritual Community Center.
Yes.
Spiritual
Well, I can't take credit
Center.
for that. That was Barbara Fields. Yeah.
Would you speak to that, though? A little bit more what that means.
Absolutely. Well, that's a true empowered leadership model. And that is something that I recognized many years ago in Unity. I've been in Unity since I'm 19 years old, so, you know. And having been a pastor in Unity since 2003. However, I observed that many great people, amazing people, talented people, walk into a Unity Center, and they want to give, they want to do something, and there's not the space of welcoming for that. You know, so you have a homeopathic doctor, you have the veterinarians that specialize in animal care, you have leading people with how to grow your social media. I mean, how many of us would love a class just to learn how to click and do a button and do whatever, you know, so that we can connect with the new evolution of how things are changing. And so I would see that there would be so many talented people in a Unity community, and yet, like I said earlier, they will have to go somewhere else to offer those talents. It ought to be, as a community center, that you bring in the energy here. Like when we had the International Film Festival here in Santa Barbara, and we brought in all kind of films that are related to practical application. That's what people are longing for. It's like, I don't want to just come in and be quiet and have somebody talk at me and give me platitudes and cliches. I want you to share with me how I can get past my cousin who committed suicide. I want you to share with me how can healthy sobriety matter. You understand? And so that's what people want to hear, is like, how do I get the tools that I can take it home and do something with it? Not just, we're all in divine order and we're all kumbaya. That's beautiful. And there's a time for that. But I feel the world is calling us to be much more engaged and involved, right? And to give viable solutions So the unity of the spiritual community center would offer that. So at the film festival, Inger Canfield and myself, we talked about the loving animals and how valuable that is and our passion for that. That could be the kind of things that's here. Not somewhere else, but here. So is that what you're looking for? Can I keep the microphone or you want it back?
You got it.
Okay. We already go way back. We can't help it. We were together in other lifetimes, probably. Yeah. But that's the idea. And empowered leadership would be leaders that are comfortable with who they are. And that's just allowing yourself to be. And if you are comfortable with yourself, and if you have self-esteem, Julie, what you're referring to is often a sense of fake self, or people that believe power is power over other people. That's not real leadership. Real leadership is power within your own life. It's not, you're not out to micromanage or have power over other people, you know. And that, you know, being said, that essence, just like this morning, I had never met Sharon before. What an amazing, talented person she is, yes? But I walked up to her and I said, if spirit moves you in the song you're singing before my talk, don't stop. And she said, what? I said, don't stop. Keep going. Don't be driven by your clock. If spirit's driving you, share. Go further, go deeper, you know. And that's the part of what leadership is about, is allowing people that have gifts and talents to express them and not micro them and not shut them down. Yes, but to allow that energetic presence. I'm all about that people are into time, but when you're at spiritual community, time doesn't need to be the number one value, and what time it is on the clock. The biggest value ought to be that when we gathered in a sacred presence with an open heart, that we can go back and tell people about the experience that we had. Not that we were able to meet somebody on time for lunch. I'm sorry. It's a different kind of space, right? And the space that I hold is that I believe in quiet. I do silent retreats, meditation. Those are medicine. Those are all medicine for all of us. It's medicine for the teacher archetype when you start getting self-righteous. You know, it's time to go and be quiet and be silent and heal your shadow. But when you gather on Sunday morning, make a mighty noise unto the Lord. You don't need to get all dressed up and drive all the way across town just to sit and be quiet. You understand? It's like, let's build an energy of a presence. Well, I told him I'd talk long. Okay. I'll give you my mother's number. You want it?
I think Deborah has something.
Yes, I would like the two of you to share how you envision, and I purposely use that term envision, you working as a co-ministerial team. What, if you could share with us about that and how you think you will work together?
Well, you know, you'll find that we're the same and different. You know, I'm more of an introvert. She's an extrovert. I'm a little more country. She's a little more rock and roll. But we put these teachings first and foremost, and our love first and foremost. I think we are good friends, and we listen and we hear each other. So as a team, this is going to be a really strong leadership. And I think, and we haven't talked about this really, but this strong leadership together and how we do this will bleed into this community. And, you know, we were talking with the board yesterday. The board, they are also the energy of which we will be as a mastermind bringing the congregation forward with this. This is our commitment to you. And as you know, everything is energy. So we're going to be discovering things, I think, along the way. I don't know if anything's written in stone. We're going to try to figure it out as we go. We might have some different styles, how we do things in our 30, well, I graduated in 83. How many years is that?
I was born then.
You were born, yeah. I was doing this since Jesus was born. So anyway, that being said, we might have different styles, and how we blend them together to present to you, I think will be very powerful.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel that we operate from I understand duties and, specifics, and there will be a template, a business template that the people and the volunteers and the welcome team will be used to. Okay, this is a particular type of standard. But I believe more importantly, what is significant about us is that we don't do martyrdom. We don't run around and tell you how tired we are and worn out and everything's overwhelming. There's no space for that. We're not people of confusion.
No.
It's just, that's the light of God is one of clarity. And we also ask for your patience. In that, just a few weeks ago, all I agreed to do was just come in and fill in a couple of Sundays. And now I'm here and flying here and So give us time. Because again, like I talked about this morning, we don't want to put into motion all the things that have happened before because you're going to get more of that. And so we want to give ourselves the fluidity to see what comes forth. What happens first. There might be a big project that happens outside the community that would engage and collaborate with Unity of Santa Barbara. But anyway, that's that. You also find that when one of us speaks on Sunday, our energy is I'll speak for me. My energy is way out there today. I don't ever have meetings on Sunday because I'm just like blah, 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 blah. And when I go to lunch with my wife, she goes, please bring it down. The whole restaurant can hear you. So I can have lots of space for her to talk, I promise.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
So can I just add?
Yes.
Can I just add on to that? From the board's perspective, this is really out of the box thinking. This is an out of the box idea. We have never done this before. We don't really know what this is going to look like. And that's kind of what we're asking you all. Are you willing to go down this path of discovery with these two people, with the board, and see where it takes us? But this is out of the box, and we've been in a kind of a very small box for a very long time going, let us out of here. Exactly, just like that. So this is our opportunity that has been brought to us. So I just want to say that, we're going to leave it up to you to figure out what this looks like, because we got the duties and we got the box down. We want to know what's going to happen outside the box, and so the board is fully supporting that idea.
And I think it's important to say that we're not here for the first time and we're going to practice on all of you. Okay, what we're talking about bringing here, we've already done. And we are going to do it even more special and great because of all of you and your energy. So we're bringing a lot of experience where when we talk about a campus model or where you would have 2 or 3 classes a day, you have a beautiful facility here that is just not being used. And it can be full-time all the time. Sobriety groups, parenting groups, grief groups, suicide groups. These are all everyday life situations where people can gather in sacred circles and share and realize that we are healed by what we turn towards, not what we turn away from. And that's the greatest thing. You can clap, it's a church. But I don't think I would be, I would say I wouldn't be alive today had it not been for group meetings at my Science of Mind Center, where people had a safe space that they could share what was on their hearts. And just a model of people talking at you, it's too safe. You know, because my teacher taught me, if I'm telling you, you may or may not be getting it. If you're telling me, you got it. So group therapy dynamics is crucial. And that would be some of the things we would want to do right away. A sobriety group, a woman's sobriety group, you know, all kind of meetings that are about how to be grandparents. I'm a grandparent. I'm like, how do I do that? I don't know. But I want to know. I want to do it well. I'm going to be quiet.
I'm going to do my best to make like my 7 questions just be one, because you have answered a few pieces of it, and that is the fact that we're going to try something completely new. And I so appreciate that we have this model of women collaboratively working together to bring forth new light. So deep gratitude for that. But my question is, I'm from the family ministry side of what Unity has been, and obviously the pandemic messed with that. But losing the young folks was a problem we had pre-pandemic. So I'm curious how you two are envisioning bringing back families, bringing back the babies, bringing back the aunties and uncles who maybe don't have kids of their own. But like you were saying about grandparents, how do we be good models? And so I'm just wondering, do you guys already have ideas like that? And could you share?
Yeah, I'm going to let you answer that. It's been 3 years since I've actually been in the ministry, and things are a little rusty for me.
Well, just as of 2 weeks ago. Now, there's 2 things. Children are like men in spiritual community. They go where they're acknowledged and they go where they're loved. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. I mean, when I would do, I've taught speaking all over the world. No, I'm serious. I've taught speaking all over the world, and I taught classes at Unity Worldwide on how to be a speaker as a minister. And what they were being told there is fundamentally our audiences in Unity are women. And I said, and the reason that's true is because women ministers only talk to women, and that's no fair. Men are the most spiritual people you'll ever meet in the world. But they go where they're loved. They go where there's a space. And the same is true for children. Children go where they're loved. Mm-hmm. I am in spiritual community most of all because of the family connection. I love children. I traveled internationally. I miss being around families. I miss being around kids. So that would be one thing, that's a passionate thing for both of us, that we feel strongly about that. The children aren't our future, they're our now. Mm-hmm. And they are some of the brightest teachers on the planet. We have it backwards.
Agreed.
In our society, we have it backwards. Well, you're just a kid, you don't know. Let me tell you what my grandmother told me, because I'm messed up. I want you to be messed up too. No. It's more about, you are a bright light. You don't pay a mortgage. You're not going through problems. Teach me how to pray. Oh, yeah. Children. That's one thing. The other thing, the reason that New Thought communities have lost young people is because they are talking a great talk, but they're not living it.
Amen. That's it.
So when you talk about honoring animals, each other, the elderly, young people want you to be showing them what does that look like.
So do you have ideas already?
Yes,
for
lots.
For bringing
more than you
wonderful.
have time for today.
Fantastic.
Nor
I look
me.
forward
Yes.
to that conversation.
So
Yes.
Chrissy, this is Chrissy, just so you know who she is.
I met Chrissy.
Oh, good. Okay.
I don't think we have, but it's a pleasure to meet
I
you
did.
now. We maybe another lifetime back with Russ. I'm sure.
You and Russ were together, and I met you then. Okay.
She was doing such a great job with the kids
And
with
Jennifer.
With Jennifer, there's Jennifer right there. The two of
It
them
was
together.
you I met.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were doing such a great job. And so during this time, we will also like to get ideas from the two of you on how to proceed forward. And, you know, we want to talk about the space, you know, how children might feel safe in their space and how to go about doing that. So, you know, we would be more than happy to meet with you, and if you guys have any ideas to share with us on how to proceed forward, that would be a great help.
I immediately saw this morning on the restroom there that it is awful feng shui to have a sign that says Youth and Family Ministry and it's a storage room. That's not good consciousness. Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't always the way it was, but we
Good,
did
thank you.
disappear in all the pandemic, so it is just that
Okay, got it.
important.
There's
Thank
just
you.
to let you know, we are already looking
Thank
at
you.
where do we organize, where do we bring organization, maybe throw out some things that, you know, have been here forever and they're not a part of our history. We don't need to bring that forward. So anyway, there's a lot of organization. So just so you know, the feng shui of it, we'll get to that.
Everybody was feng shui.
And this is Bob.
Good morning, I'm Bob Vitamonte, and I'm really excited by everything you're saying. And we have a relatively short rope, if you will, economically, and you've already been addressed through Allison. One of the things that's really important, I think, is an understanding as a membership what's going to be done and over what periods of time. I totally believe in principles and practices. Practices produce results, and then you change what you do if the results are not what you want. So how are you going to communicate with the group what your plans are and how the results are coming out and how we're adapting? So that's really, it's a communication question, perhaps more than anything else.
How has it been done?
There's been very little, at least in my experience.
Okay.
All right, and the board does what it can do.
Yeah.
But I'm into the world of actions and activities and results.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm trying to get an understanding of that because we don't have a year. We have 6 months to try to get our hands around things.
And I think that it's our responsibility to do that because Allison was so very clear about what our finances are like, and we need to continue to be that clear as time goes on. I know you've had some ideas as far as, do you want to talk about
You're giving it to me.
Okay.
Well, one of the things we talked about right away in our 6 weeks of knowing each other is that we're going to do a major fundraiser and bring in the past donors and the current donors and have a gathering and create for them our vision of what we foresee in the year and longer than that, the next probably 18 months. You know, you used to do 5-year visions. People don't do that anymore. But we are going to show, Bob, the future that we see here at Santa Barbara. The other thing is that with the leadership that we're bringing, we will start to see more people coming, the energy, and with that does come funding. Because people are excited then to give. When people aren't feeling either consciously or unconsciously that a community is going somewhere, they start holding back. And so that's another level that if we're doing our part correctly, we ought to see a big difference immediately in the day-to-day ops. And then to increase some of the rental and some of the activities will make a difference. So, but your real question was about communication, and we are very open in communicating and through the board and through e-news and video and those kind of things, absolutely. Super. But I'm with you. Well, you know, it's all great to talk about abundance and lofty conversations, but we need our feet on the ground. This is a serious time here. And I feel that that is the reason that we are rushing this. We did the same thing at First Unity. We didn't go through the search process. We found candidates to apply because people are uncertain about just about everything, and they don't need to be uncertain about their spiritual community. And so it's in that space of us bringing a solid front to the storehouse, I believe we'll see change too. Is that helpful?
Very helpful, and I'm very excited about the energy you're going to bring. And I only see good things ahead, so thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm Bonnie, and I cannot believe that I've even come up here, but Spirit is saying, get up there.
Good for you. You were brave for 5 minutes. That's powerful.
So I asked myself yes or no, and Spirit talks to me. In the early 80s, I learned something so phenomenal at a workshop here. And I want to ask you and you and you, our thoughts have power, yes? Yeah? Then when we speak the words, double whammy, we create. This is what I learned at this workshop, and I used to be a psychotherapist at Unity here, and I taught my class and I taught my people. And I invite you to listen to each other and to your loved ones, because what they say, what they think, and what they say, the universe goes, okay, create it. Okay, keep it going. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. Unless you use, and I invite you to write down 3 separate words. They are up until now.
Oh, yeah.
So our church is in the red, major. We have 6 months left. Up until now, our church has been not funded properly the way we want to see it fly and be. So I invite you to, as you're speaking, as your loved ones are speaking, they're creating. And so I go to my close friends and I'll go. As they speak, I'll go. And they go, oh, up until now. Yeah, so thank you for letting me share.
Thank you very much.
I have one.
Oh, my. That's my husband.
This does make me nervous, the subject. But there's been a little bit of talk about, how much experience you guys have had. And, Allison said that it's over 50 years, right? And you started in 03, correct? So
No. I am a 30-year minister. I am a bi-spiritual minister. I'm ordained.
But in Unity, you started in Unity in 03?
Yeah, but it's New Thought, so I have...
I understand. Yeah, and it encompasses.
You have 50? 40?
Well, I have 39.
39.
Well, so that's...
69 years.
So, but didn't we just celebrate your 37th birthday, honey? So it's a math thing. It's a math thing, I guess. Oh. All right, that's it.
That was it. No, but you're right. You're right. We have ministry experience of 69 years between us. Woo!
Thank you so much for that. That was incredibly revealing. Yeah. You're a fun guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and that's what Cathy says. So one thing that we have not actually talked about at all, and it's a big item, but maybe just brief thoughts about our online presence. We've invested a lot of energy, time, money in equipment, and we have this wonderful AV team. We even have a booth now. It's fabulous what has happened. And we have an online community. And so where are you guys with the ideas around online presence and streaming and Zoom and classes and all that kind of stuff?
We started it at Unity of Ventura a long time ago because we realized that times were a-changing, and we were amazed at how how big that congregation was from all over the world. And my darling husband was the one with, I mean, we didn't have what we have now. He had an iPad, and every Sunday he would be there with the iPad and also respond to some of these people. We had regulars from all over the world, and he would communicate with them during the service. So it's really important for us. We're both being called to be of service, this community as well as the community at large. And that's where you also get to help us, because the more you share our online videos and such, the more it's going to get out there. And we have a marketing company. We have, and I know you've got, your online community was pretty big. What did you do for that?
And I'm watching you up there. So
The-
I'm keep my neck turned.
Oh, okay, but, oh, I had no idea. Look at how cute you are.
Absolutely. Well, the online presence is the same as children. You bring them into the room. And so you have people, you learn to articulate in announcements and during the service. For those of you that are online, let us know where you're from. And you have an assigned person that finds great joy interacting with the people, because that really, people feel part of it. Just like you feel part of it. You don't just come and sit down and then get up and leave. You have interactions with people. So you create that same kind of model online. And it is really beautiful because you could do a lot with media here. There are people that pay large amounts of money to be videoed and to package, what it is that they do. And you have a team that could do it here. So that would be another avenue of funding, of resource. And to do the both and, that you do the Zoom, but you also do the in-person. And that's very important. But it means a lot when you say, welcome everybody from Hawaii. And yeah, we have a group in Vietnam that I now do on occasion a class for, a whole group of people in Vietnam. And it's just wonderful because we're not, unity is too special to keep it in the closet. So it's...
So because we were true to our word, and we said we would leave here at the hour. Allison, did you have anything you wanted to say beforehand? No? I want to thank each of you for what? Oh, yes.
Oh, may I just ask?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Nancy, and I'm very excited about the prospects too. And I just had a question that was geared toward you, Reverend Cathy. You said you were going to focus on the internal, and Reverend Temple more on the external. And I was just wondering, and I know, wanting to get the community more involved and getting the word out there and bringing in classes and all, which I think will be so wonderful. And I'm just wondering, when you both speak, will you both still on Sundays still be teaching unity principles? Yeah. Or Reverend Temple, will you be talking more about how to get more community involvement? I was just wondering how the talks will go on Sunday. We know what it is to focus on the internal in a Sunday message, and I'm just wondering about the Sunday messages. Will they be focusing more on the externals, how to bring people in and just what the
when I was
difference might
referring to internal and external, I was talking more about a business model. I wasn't referring to Sundays.
Oh, okay.
I'm a ordained unity minister. Cathy's an ordained unity minister. So our messages will always be unity principles on Sunday.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't.
Yeah, it's an important question.
To clarify
and like I say, ask me all the questions you want when you run into me, because I'm new to you. I'm not new to me, but I'm new to you.
All right.
And I respect people that you have invested many years in this community, and you have somebody that kind of just floated in, but I'm getting to know you too, and It's a collaboration together. So is that helpful? Or
That is
Yeah,
helpful.
I mean,
Thank you.
always on Sunday, Sunday is what Sunday does.
Okay.
And Sunday is to teach the principles of unity, the 5 principles, to also include our brothers and sisters in New Thought, because together we're a much larger, I think it's important for people to know about Ernest Holmes and to know about Science of Mind and those kind of things, but we are a unity community, and that's what the sign says.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Nancy.
Can I answer one more thing?
Yeah.
May I? Yeah. Because, there's part of people have brought up questions about shaman. It's not shaman, it's shaman. And a true shaman is a person that in their lineage, they were born as the next person to be a shaman. That would not be the case with me. I am a learned shaman, learning principles and tools and healing techniques. And that is simply about understanding the laws of energy, understanding why people don't have any because of hardship or things that have happened in their lives. And a real definition of a shaman is a holy person in a tribe that believes in infinity and wholeness. So I just wanted to address that. It's nothing woo-woo. It's not, brainwashing or anything like that. It's just really understanding space and energetic space and knowing how to heal people. My book was When Did You Die? 8 Steps to Stop Dying Every Day and Start Waking Up. And it teaches people practical applications of how to have a lot of energy, because I have a lot of energy. And I wanted to share with people how tools that I was taught to pass on to other people. We're not here to get old. We age, but old is a paradigm we've bought into that sells a lot of pharmaceuticals. We don't need to get old. So it's about that. And Allison had asked me if I would address that. Is that helpful? Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we want to.
Can we go to lunch now, Papa?
We want to thank you for taking the time after this service, because I know it's extra time, and that you stayed here to ask questions and to learn about us. We're most grateful.
Yeah.
So thank you for your presence here with us. And you want to do a closing prayer?
I think you ought to. I think I've earned my keep today. Okay.
You go ahead. You go
All
ahead.
right. Let's stand for God, shall we? Let's acknowledge the presence and power of the universe that is filling our spirit. And just as I shared with the welcome team this morning, let's honor the Fillmores as we do the great invocation. We are now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. We acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase our mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation our world. Bring into manifestation the world of Unity of Santa Barbara Spiritual Community Center. Bring into manifestation in your life a world that operates and activates and manifests according to thy perfect law. And so it is. Thank you for coming. Bless you.